Frederic Chopin said simplicity is the final achievement. After one has played a vast quantity of notes and more notes, it is simplicity that emerges as the crowning reward of art. Simplicity is as much simple as possible. In Zen they say, in the beginning when you start your life, mountains are mountains, rivers are rivers, valleys are valleys. Whatever you see is rivers are rivers. Once you start studying and you start climbing up the ladder, then you think rivers are no more rivers, mountains are no more mountains, valleys are no more valleys. Means your family is no more family, your gurus are no more gurus, your religion is no more religion, everything is stupid, I am the boss. In the final again, when you come, you again, mountains are mountains, rivers are rivers, valleys are valleys. Simplicity is the final achievement, yes. After one has played a vast quantity of notes and more notes, vast quantity, not you didn't say small, it's a vast, the toughest, hardest work. When you do the toughest and hardest work, don't force. It happens because when you are in deep, intimate love with your subject. When you are in deep and intimate love with your land is very important. Yes, with your land, and your work happens of its own. You see one, you start trimming one branch, you trim another branch, you start pouring water to the plants, and you start giving that manure to the plants, you start plucking the fruits and the flowers, and you start talking to them. At the end of the day, the vast quantity of notes and more notes. Frederic Chopin said, the vast quantity of your work in the field, and then it is simplicity. You cannot go back to your room and sit on the easy chair or on your chair. Right down under the tree, you sit with your bum down on Mother Earth. Sometimes you stretch back and lie down, and suddenly you feel, when you lie down, the face turned towards the sky. First time you see the vast ocean of beauty. That simplicity makes you to see the truth. That simplicity makes you to understand the love. And in that simplicity, you and the Mother Earth, you and the vast sky, between the sky and the earth, in between, the three power melts together to make you one, and then people can feel that magnanimity. People can see that magnifying quality. People can see that power, that magnetic power. That is called leader. That's simplicity. Frederic Francois Chopin, French Polish-born Frederic Francis Chopin, was a Polish composer and virtuoso pianist of the Romantic era who wrote primarily for solo piano. He has maintained worldwide renown as a leading musician of his era, one whose poetic genius was based on a professional technique that was without equal in his generation. Simplicity is the final achievement in Frederic Chopin. Only final achievement that people get stuck up in between. One leg on this side, one leg on this side. He said simplicity is the final achievement. You carry the whole body. Final achievement, to go and reach the final achievement after one has played vast quantity of notes and more notes, vast quantity of notes and more notes, vast quantity of push-ups. And the time comes and you cannot do one more push-ups extra. That is the time you start the count, it becomes more push-ups. And in that more push-ups, when you cannot move your hand anymore, then only the spirit comes, the kiaoi comes, you shout louder to get another one more. In that scream, the whole body vibrates, it creates magnetic power, cells lying down in the brain starts working, and then for a second you start noticing past, present, future stops. Only you and the kiaoi, only you and the sound shouting louder to get one more push. That silence, that gap is called the satori. In that gap, you are very close to the enlightenment. In that gap, you really not see the truth. You just feel the divine of the truthness. Truthness is nothing but the natural quality. Suddenly you find the mountains so beautiful. Valleys, my God, what a creation of the valleys. What rivers. And then you fall in love with the rainwater harvesting to make sure the rain is falling. It has to be diverted to all the rivers or to the ponds as much as possible, to the trenches and into the borewell recharging pits, so that whatever I needed for the year, I have already saved what the nature has given. Simplicity is the final achievement, said Frederic Chopin. After one has played a vast quantity of notes and more notes, it is simplicity that emerges as the crowning reward of art. Vast notes. One has played a vast quantity of notes. The Buddhist scriptures was written have to be made into the wood form, chipped into the wood form, and it was not done. So one Zen master decided that he has to keep it for the future generation. He went around collecting funds to print the book. And when the first book was about to be published, there was a massive tornado, massive floods in Japan. He donated all what is collected for taking care of the sufferings of the people, and second round he went around again collecting, and it took another 8 years for him to collect that money, and again when the 8th year came he was about to print. Again another vast flood came. He donated. That's what Frederic Chopin was telling. Simplicity. One has played vast quantity of notes and more notes and more notes. It is simplicity that emerges as the crowning reward of active simplicity. And in the third time it took another long years to collect funds, and wherever he goes people will spit on him telling, you are a robber. You said printing, you didn't print. Second time you didn't print, you must have eaten that money. Third time you again coming. So it was a lot of pain. At last he collected and he printed the book, and when the book was printed he said, it's a third edition. And people said, robber again, where is the first edition and second edition? And he said, if the book is of no practical use, the first edition, yes, it went to the people. Second edition, again, people are suffering. If books are not made for a practical cause, what's the purpose of that being in the library? That's what Frederic Chopin says. Simplicity is the final achievement. After one has played a vast quantity of notes, vast quantity of money, and more money. Vast quantity of notes and more notes. Vast quantity of notes, vast quantity of money, vast quantity of and more money. It is simplicity that emerges as the crowning reward of it. It is simplicity that you share it up and you see the smiling face of the other people, the people who worked with you, surroundings, when the surroundings are happy, with the rainwater harvest, with solar and wind energy. Yes, and beautiful plants and rivers. Yes, now there is a lot of flood in Karnataka state, lot of flood all over India. And every time they're telling they are losing 300 crores, 500 crores, 1,000 crores, and they're begging the central government for money. Immediately after the flood, everybody goes back fighting each other. That's the time you have to sit to find out. So the next flood, before the next flood comes, how to find out when such a big amount of rain comes, such a big amount, vast quantity of rainwater notes, 2,000 rupee notes falling down, how do we put it up in proper bank? Yes, that has to be done so that water flows properly. That has not been done. A lot of people are dying. If government couldn't do that, at least village to village, house to house, when you do it, this problem will not come. Can you see? A storm came, everybody dying. Tomorrow war comes, everybody dies Without a single shot being fired, country will be taken. To stop that single shot being fired, it's a joint family. You stabilize a joint family. And when you have the family tree, the area panchayat will decide water flows in which direction, rainwater harvest should happen, whom to allow inside the village, not to allow. What is the quality of our samskriti? What is the quality of our music to be played in that particular village? What kind of a food should be grown, crops should be grown in our area? And where should that be marketed? In case the market crashes, how do we store it? They are broken. They said the invaders are broken. Invaders left 70 years back. Forget about the political leaders. After all, they also eat food, they also go to the toilet. You also eat food, you go to the toilet. So let us not talk about the quality of your political leader. What about you? You think you are a leader. If we can think like that, stabilize your family. That vast quantity, you get involved, and then the chair and the cot and the AC and the fan has got zero value, because the wind when it hits you when you're tired and you're sweaty, wow, it's an orgasmic experience of that wind. So beautiful. The sun is burning you in slow fire and you sweat it out, energy and only energy. Frederic Chopin said, simplicity is the final achievement. After one has played a vast quantity of notes and more notes, your stability of what you have learned, that every day you practice. It is simplicity emerges as a crowning reward of life. Simplicity, your beautiful smile, and you have the energy to share. Your mind starts working beautifully, which answers comes out of your practical knowledge. This is my 213th